Three guys did a fantastic study. This is up at Outkick if you want to read it, if you want to share it with any of your friends. There were three guys that did an analysis of COVID responses by 50 different states. And by the way, founding fathers, a lot of brilliant things they did. Federalism, study it, one of the most important. That is 50 independent state laboratories able to test out a variety of different ideas to see which one may work the best. And certainly that has been in play with COVID. And there were three guys involved in doing this research paper. University of Chicago economist Casey Mulligan, who was on Clay and Buck today, Stephen Moore, and Phil Kerpen of the Committee to Unleash Prosperity. They did a study called A Final Report Card on the State's Response to COVID for the National Bureau of Economic Research. And what they found was that when you looked at health-related outcomes, that is, people who got sick and people who died, schools remaining open, which was important for young people, and the economic impact, that is, the overall rate of employment in these states, that these 10 states did the best job. Utah, according to their study, Utah did the best of any state in the nation at handling COVID. Nebraska, Vermont, Montana, South Dakota, Florida. Florida was the sixth best state at handling COVID according to their study. New Hampshire, Maine, Arkansas, and Idaho. Okay, again, they went ahead and evened up all of the age numbers. They went ahead and looked at schools and also economic impact. And what they found was that Florida was the best of the big states, Utah best overall. How about the 10 states that did the worst at responding to COVID? New Jersey, worst in the nation at responding to COVID, according to this study. Followed by Washington, D.C., New York, New Mexico, California, and Illinois. Now, it's not a surprise if you look at the data. People are fleeing Illinois. People are fleeing California, New York, New Jersey. Okay? I've said this before, but it's an argument that's almost impossible to refute. If people were really in more danger in red states with a great deal of freedom, why in the world are Florida, Tennessee, Texas, states like this overwhelmingly adding people, and why were California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois overwhelmingly losing people? It's because the American public votes with their feet, and they recognized that nothing was making sense in terms of the COVID restrictions. Maryland, Nevada, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania all were the 10 worst. Almost all of those places that did a poor job, blue states, blue cities, overwhelmingly the places that handled COVID the best. When you consider a multi-pronged analysis, which is how adults make decisions, you can't just say, oh, let's eliminate all deaths. Because if you did take it outside of COVID, you would say nobody can drive a car anymore. Or you would say people can drive cars, but they can only go 10 or 20 miles an hour. You could eliminate all traffic deaths from car accidents almost if you put a governor on every car and you only go 20 miles an hour. But we say, hey, driving 70, 65, 55, whatever mile per hour it is worth around 40,000 deaths a year. That is an externality that we are able to accept. So you have to consider the impact not only of health from COVID, but also of shutting down schools and also of shutting down economies. Because you could try the zero COVID policy, but look at what's going on in Shanghai right now. 25 million people, second largest city in China. They've been shut down for over a week. They're not allowed to go outside, to buy food, to walk their dogs, nothing. And people are starting to go crazy in Shanghai over these restrictions. There are starting to be people who are uprising against the Chinese government. And this is significant because initially the Chinese government tried to argue that COVID demonstrated the failures of Western democracies. But for the most part, Western democracies, particularly the United States, thanks to federalism, were able to reach decent results in terms of economy, in terms of schooling, and in terms of overall health. while China is still trying to implement zero COVID, which, by the way, is not supported in any way based on New Zealand and Australia, who were other places that tried to embrace zero COVID. So this is a total mess. Also a total mess is that the CDC is potentially going to continue the airline mask mandate, according to Biden's advisors who spoke today. And just over an hour ago, the city of Philadelphia brought back its mask mandate indoors. So if you thought masks were going away, the city of Philadelphia, we'll see if any other cities follow suit, has now brought back its mask mandate. It's totally illogical. It makes no impact based on all the data, yet they are continuing to try to defend it.